What's up, everyone? Coming back from the car for today's video because unfortunately for Pixel back here, it started raining on us pretty hard. So we are just gonna wait in the car for my kid to get off the school bus. So I figured I record a video. And today's video, I scoured the internet, mainly Reddit, and found some questions that hobbyist photographers and amateur photographers have asked, and so I'm going to take a stab at answering some of them from my perspective. Now, just to give you a background on me and my relationship and journey with photography, I've been taking pictures for over 20 years now, which is like insane to think about. I've done it as a profession, doing wedding photography, event photography, and the latest was product photography, working with companies. And then when we moved to Washington, and actually during the pandemic, all that stopped. And then when we moved to Washington, I just decided to do it for myself because the photography wasn't fun anymore. Like I was doing it for other people, and I wasn't doing it for myself. So that's my background. So I have them here on my phone, and so I'm going to read them off. This is in no particular order. Also, all these questions are based off of and geared towards family photography, like your own family photography, travel photography, and like everyday type moments. Okay. How do I capture genuine moments instead of staged ones? So when I think of staged ones, I think of that same tired pose every parent, especially parent, tells their kid, hey, say cheese, or hey, look over here, or your dog, hey, Rover, look up, right? Because what you're doing is when you see them when you see them in that moment doing something cute or funny or whatever, you see that moment and you want to take a picture of that moment. As soon as you say cheese or you say, hey, look up, it breaks away from it. And so over time you start looking and you have the same fake smile in all your pictures for all your kids. My advice, and I have a teenager now, when he was little, I just took the camera out and I just took pictures. I never asked him to say cheese. I never told him to look over here. I just took pictures. And I have a portfolio. I say portfolio, but I have a collection of pictures that are like just genuine moments of my kid's life. Another way to look at it is be a documentarian, like be a fly on the wall and take pictures. Like maybe you take pictures from a distance so that your kids or family members don't see it. And then over time, like if the camera's just out, they'll forget about it. And then you could take pictures. Like now I can pull up my phone or my camera or phone and take pictures of my kid, and he doesn't even react. I could take pictures of Pixel. She doesn't even look up. At some point, they just kind of forget about it, and then those pictures are more genuine, and they're not as staged, and then you don't have, again, like I said, the same smile in every picture. What's the best gear for travel and family photography? Well, that's interesting. I think lighter is better. I'm not gonna go into like specific gear, like specific camera gear, but lighter is better, at least for me. One lens, maybe two, but don't overpack your gear. Why, I think if you're just getting out into photography, a zoom lens is great because you can figure out what your favorite focal length is, and also you have variety, right? So you want to get more wide angle shots, you want to do portraits, you can kind of do it all in one without having to worry about changing lenses. And then if you can afford it, get a pocket camera. Like get a regular camera and a pocket camera, or use your phone as your pocket camera. And that way you have variety. So if you wanted to, you could have like a telephoto lens on one and then your phone or pocket camera on another. And then you kind of have the best of both worlds, and you can take portraits, you can take landscapes, you can take architecture. Like you're kind of covered that way. How do I take better photos in low light? Raise your ISO. Especially newer cameras, and I'm specifically talking about cameras. Like your phone, they can do computational photography. So if you just hold still on most of our phones, you can do like the night photography, and it'll take really good pictures at night. But if you have like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, more down nowadays a mirrorless camera, raise your ISO. It's shocking how well these cameras are at higher ISO. I mean, even like 2000, 4000 of ISO, at ISO levels, they look really good. Like it's not going to be as grainy. If your camera has a flash on it, use flash in certain situations. But again, you can raise your ISO, and with modern software, you can reduce the noise in your pictures, or you could keep it and have like an old school effect. Or one photographer used to say, raise your ISO and then turn it into black and white, and it looks amazing. But the number one thing I would say is raise your ISO. Most people are afraid of doing it, even professionals, but I mean, I've taken some amazing pictures at higher ISO levels. How do I take better group photos of my family? That's a good one. I would say get a book or watch tutorials online about posing, because that will help you understand how to get people together, how to get people, around a certain, to look a certain way. I won't lie, I'm not the greatest at this, and this is something I kind of struggle with. I just don't do it. That was one of the weaknesses in my photography business. Is like I just didn't like doing group pictures. But I've seen some people who are just amazing at it, and so I would say find a tutorial. To be honest, like that's my advice. Find a tutorial online. I will leave one down below if I find a really good one. I will find a really good one and leave it down below, and then you use that, watch that, and just practice. How do I avoid my photos looking boring or repetitive? This is the struggle of all beginner photographers, right? Your pictures will kind of look the same over and over and over again. And the best advice I heard was from Jay Maisel, who said, if you don't want to take boring photos, don't be a boring person. So, really, what that meant is take your camera everywhere. Bring your camera everywhere you go. Like when you're first starting out, bring your camera everywhere you go. And I would even say if you have an interchangeable lens camera, get a 50 millimeter lens and just use that, and just put yourself in different situations. Use that camera, get to know your camera inside and out, and then you'll be able to start taking more creative pictures. You're gonna start seeing the world differently. You're gonna start seeing the world through your camera lens, right? You'll frame things up in your mind when you're just walking down the street, or you're going to notice things more. If all you do is the same thing over and over again, then you're never going to grow as a photographer. Like your pictures will always look the same. And unfortunately, I know people who started photography, but they stopped doing it because they're like, yeah, all my pictures look the same. It kind of sucks, and I just got discouraged. And I get it, 100%. But you got to take your camera everywhere you go. You're going to the grocery store, you take your camera. Going to get a car wash, take your camera. Going for a walk with your dog, take your camera. Like everywhere you go, you take your camera. And I would say do that for the first year. Really just force yourself to take your camera everywhere. And your worldview will quite literally change, and the way that you see pictures is going to change. And when you look at the pictures you took in January and then you look at them in December, they're going to look totally different. So that's how you take more interesting pictures. How do I keep my camera safe while traveling? This is a big one. I've been lucky. I haven't had, knock on wood, my camera gear stolen before, but I've also been smart about it, right? If I have a backpack on, my backpack stays in front of me. My camera gear is like next to me. I don't leave anything in a hotel, or if I do, I make it like I don't have it look obvious. Like I don't keep my camera just sitting on the counter. If you're gonna be in a busy place, you have to keep your hands on your camera. Yeah, you can have a neck strap on, but that can get cut. You can have a bag that could be snatched. Keep your hand on your camera. So even if I have like a sling bag, my hand is on my sling bag. If I have a jacket, I will put my sling bag under my jacket. If I am wearing my camera on like a sling and I have a jacket, then I will put my camera underneath my jacket again. Those are just being vigilant of what's around you is the best way to do it. Like never put your bag on the ground. Never, like even if you're sitting at a cafe, I keep my bag in my lap or around my leg. I always try to keep my camera, my bags attached to me somehow, even if I'm sitting at a restaurant. So that's my advice. How do I improve my composition in my photos? look at a lot of pictures. And I don't mean looking at pictures on Instagram, but I mean buying photo books and looking at pictures. Like, get your hands on as many photo books as you can. Your public library has a bunch. Learn about other photographers. For me, it's Jay Maisel, Vivian Myers, Gordon Parks, Andre Wagner. Like, just learn about as many photographers as you can. Join photography groups and help have people like critique your pictures, and then take a bunch of pictures. Just keep taking pictures. Look at what you like. See, you're gonna take a bunch of pictures, right? Especially when you're first starting out, and you're gonna be like, everything looks terrible, and then you're gonna find one that looks amazing, and then you run with that. Like, okay, why did I like that? Like, really understand why you like this picture, why you don't like this picture, and then keep going. And the same when you're looking at pictures. What drew you to this picture versus that picture? If it's in a book, clearly the author or whoever curated the book, if they're dead, they wanted these pictures in this book for a reason. So figure out why. Like, what makes them interesting pictures? You can take like online courses to help you understand composition better, which I think do help. But for me, it was getting out and looking at pictures, going to museums and looking at pictures, and not just looking at them passively, but like really study them. My wife will see me looking at a photo book, and I will look at one picture for like 5 6 minutes a piece. And I know people who do it longer, but I'm just really looking at like trying to see everything in that frame, trying to understand what the photographer saw when they took that picture. So that's my advice for that one. Just look at a lot of pictures, take a lot of pictures, and get off of social media, because those compositions always aren't great. But find like photo books and go to the library and get photo books, buy photo books. It is almost Christmas time. I would ask for a photo book this Christmas. What should I do with my photos after taking them? This is a really big part of photography that we all miss, myself included, and that's print your work. It could be a bunch of prints. It could be a big print. A lot of these online photo places offer free 4x6 picture prints that you can get. Now, they're not the greatest quality, but having your pictures off of your screen, whether it's your phone or a computer or tablet, and in a physical format, is transformative. For me, it's motivating. And I don't print a lot. I really struggle with that, and I need to be better at that. But you can also print books. Like, if you go on a vacation someplace, print a photo book. And again, I need to be better at that. I need to print a photo book from our trips to Alaska and Hawaii, and even just like around Washington. Print photo books. Print your own zines. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But your own little magazines, and don't have to sell them. Just print them for yourself. Have them on your coffee table. Have them in your office. It's a great conversation starter if someone comes into your office and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And it's like, "Oh, this is pictures from my latest trip." And they can just flip through it, and you're not bragging, but like, you are getting your work to be seen by other people. And again, when I say that, it's not as a hobbyist and amateur photographer. At least for me, I'm not trying to become like a resident artist or someone who's going to be famous or anything, but I do want to share my art with people. I do want other people to see it, whether they like it or not, but that's not up to me. For me, it's like, I did this and I'm proud of it, so I want to share it with people. And so print your work. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. Print on glass. You can get glass printings that look really cool. And again, I need to do this myself. My wife has been telling me for a few years now she wants a big print of one of our travels from someplace to hang on our wall, and I still haven't done it. So print your work. It will be transformative, and those are, printed pictures you can hand to anybody. Whether it's someone here in this country, in another country, but they also can be handed down over time. That's something that I feel like a lot of like my kids' generation, they're gonna lose those printed pictures. Like, I have printed pictures of when I was a kid and growing up and all that kind of stuff. And yes, I've digitized a lot of it, but I was able to digitize it because it's still there. If something happens and all my computers get wiped out, my kid's entire existence gets wiped out. And that's terrifying. So printing your work and printing your pictures, it can be passed down for generations to come. All right. Thank you as always for watching this video. I hope these Q&A questions were cool and you guys liked them. Hopefully it won't be too long, but I'm going to try to keep it under 20 minutes. But thank you as always for watching this video. If you enjoy listening to a middle-aged man ranting on the internet about the photography gear, and the philosophy of photography, this is the channel for you. Thank you as always for watching this, and I will see you next one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.